Okay, good afternoon, everybody. How are you?
Good.
Good. So for me, it's a little bit of a new exercise. I've never done that before, but I think we should be fine. I watched the interview movie during the holidays, so
so you're good. You're ready.
Practice.
Awesome.
So, I mean, we met a while ago, 2004, more than 10 years ago now, and spent a bit of time together. I ended up investing in your company, which at the time was built on a messaging platform, SMS platform. So what you did in 2008 was quite bold. You moved on your own from Geneva to Palo Alto. And I guess it's fair to say that you wouldn't be here, and probably I wouldn't be here either, today if you hadn't made that move. So what did you find in the Valley that enabled you to be so successful, and what do you think that you did in particular, or that you had, that made you successful in such a different and difficult market?
Well, I think, in general, Silicon Valley is very welcoming to new entrepreneurs, right? And, Max just left the stage, and, he himself is also a product of successful immigration to the US. So, when you get there, the environment is very welcoming. You can go to a ton of events. You get to meet a lot of people. They tend to want to help you when you get there, which is somewhat different than, the state of things in Europe and in most countries. And so, as long as you work hard and you fight, and, at that time you remember well that we had pretty intense competition with another company, and it was really, really fun, actually. And so, we did the right things. Our first big customer at that time, when I was, still running Zong, was Facebook, ironically. And we were just down the street from them in Palo Alto. So proximity with those types of companies also help a lot.
So we, from that point, you ended up being very successful in building your business and then selling it to eBay to be part of PayPal. Ended up running PayPal. And so I've been crowdsourcing the questions, because I'm not smart enough to find them on my own. And the obvious one, we might as well get out of the way. A year ago, you were just about to get on the cover of Forbes. You're running a 15,000 people business, talks of separation of the businesses, potential IPO. And then you leave to run a product at Facebook?
That's right. Well, I think, if you think about it as a traditional corporate executive, it's not the wisest move, right? But if you think about it as an entrepreneur, I think that's the exact thing you want to do. Running a very large, semi-public company with 15,000 employees is way overrated if it's not your own. It's seriously not fun every day. And so I wanted to go back at building things, and Mark just caught me at the right time and sold me a very bold vision for messaging, and asked me to come and do that. And for me, it feels almost like being at a startup with an unbelievable distribution capability, right? Because I have product engineering, design, and all of those things running in a phenomenal team. And now we have 500 million monthly active users on Messenger. And so it's a lot of fun.
We'll talk about Messenger, but just
a lot of fun. So anyway, that's why.
On the PayPal point, now that the news has been announced and they are doing that split,
yeah,
no regrets?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that seems to be pretty clear.
Yeah.
So what did you find at Facebook that you didn't have at PayPal and eBay?
Well, first of all, the culture is very much in line with the culture I liked to promote in my own companies when I was still doing that, which is a culture of, first of all, it's an engineering-driven culture, and we tend to build products really, really quickly and experiment very quickly, and so the iteration speed is very, very high. And the feedback loop is very short. So, the culture is really, really strong. And, that's what happens when you still have a strong founder at the helm, where, those founders actually manage to continue and perpetuate a strong culture because they have the moral authority to do that versus more traditional corporate executive CEOs.
So I understand that Mark approached you directly, but do you think he was trying to hire a commerce guy? to maybe one day build a commerce layer on top of Facebook, or a telecom guy? Because before your SMS company, I think you started from scratch a telecom
I don't know.
operator.
I think he was interested in a total package, like telecom and commerce and, maybe other things. I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Maybe both. So, talking about Messenger now, I was looking yesterday at the list of top apps in the UK on the App Store. I'm based in London. Number one was WhatsApp, then Facebook, then Messenger, then Instagram. So you guys seem to be doing pretty well in terms of the top apps there. But with Facebook, WhatsApp was the first one. Seems to be great messaging utility. And then Instagram is a different type of communication, more visual. There's really a need for Messenger. As a customer, I can have my utility communication with WhatsApp, and my more visual communication with Instagram.
Yeah, I think it's different. So Instagram and Facebook are both feed products. So it's more broadcasting to a wider audience. Whereas WhatsApp and Messenger are tighter groups or one-on-one private communication. So, the messaging apps are very private in nature, and the feed products are less private in nature. That doesn't mean, your data is always, safe and all of that. We look after that. But so what I mean by that is the audience selection is a different process. And so when you compare WhatsApp and Messenger, I think, the key thing is in some markets, Messenger is bigger than WhatsApp. In some markets, WhatsApp is bigger than Messenger. And for us, it's all part of the same family, so it's fine. I think the big difference for us is really that on Messenger, we're actually doing more rich media things. So, you can send photos and videos and voice clips, make high-definition calls, and, you send stickers. And more later this year. So it's a richer media platform where we want to make sure that you can express human emotions and a whole range of human emotions with the people you care the most about.
So 2 years ago, I was traveling a bit in Asia. I spent some time in Japan, spent some time in Korea, and one of the things that really struck me at the time was these new messaging platforms, and where Asia had taken the lead in terms of innovation. KakaoTalk, Line, and WeChat, they brought a lot of innovation. So, it seems to me that today, a lot of the things that these people started, you are now recreating on Messenger. So, how do you, where do you innovate?
Yeah, I think the Western market is a little different. I think, traditionally, stickers work really, really well in Asia. They work decently well in the West. But we're thinking about it in a different way. A lot of things that you've seen in some of those messaging apps, notably in China and elsewhere, are actually making up for a lack of infrastructure, notably for mobile commerce and for a bunch of other things that already exist in Western Europe and the US, right? And so our approach is going to be slightly different. But we certainly want to make it a richer and more open experience. And that's what we're going to work on in the months to come.
And so when you look at all of these platforms, who is your biggest threat?
I always like to say that our biggest threat, and in this very specific case, it's even more truer than ever, is ourselves. We just need to execute a very bold plan at a very large scale with hundreds of millions of active daily users. And it's not trivial. If you change a lot of things in a product at that pace with that user base, it's just not a trivial exercise. And so I think we're our own worst enemy if we don't execute well.
So you mean ourselves, as in Facebook?
Yeah.
So Facebook, which is becoming a little bit a kind of a confederation of platforms, started organically building Facebook, then bought Instagram, then bought WhatsApp, and then a kind of forced installation of Messenger with some success. But if I look at what was beyond those 4 apps in the App Store, there was YouTube was 5th, but then 6th was Snapchat. So when are you buying Snapchat?
It's funny how VCs like to ask those types of questions.
Well,
So
let me phrase it another way. Is there anybody below 20 left on Facebook?
of course.
I thought they were all on Snapchat.
So the good news is, I mean, I think most days it's good news, some days it's not, but I have a teenage daughter. You know, she is on Facebook. All of her friends are on Facebook. And while they use a bunch of other products, they still are active on Facebook. So I think the myth that teenagers are not on Facebook is a myth.
OK, you have the data. I don't.
Yeah.
My daughter is not yet teenage, so
Yeah.
I can't comment.
I'll share tips with you.
Actually, the ninth app on that list actually was Dub Smash. Maybe that could be another idea for you
Love
guys.
Dub Smash. Those guys are doing great stuff.
No, pretty
It's
cool.
a lot of fun.
So,
And the primary way, by the way, for Dub Smash to share those videos that you can dub with famous movie lines and stuff are messaging apps, including Messenger. So that's kind of a really interesting thing that's happening right now with like apps that are solely focused on content creation, and then they use messaging apps as a distribution channel. And so, you know, that's just really, really good for the ecosystem.
So there was a comment by David Cameron in the UK following the terrible events of last week in France, where, of a week before last, where he was saying that messaging apps with encryption should be prohibited, at least talking for the UK. So I guess the events that we saw in Paris had a big impact on many people at many levels. And how did that impact your business?
Well, I mean, it didn't impact our business, but I think there are a couple of things to consider.
I saw on Facebook, a lot of comments I was not necessarily expecting. So did you have to do a specific monitoring around them?
No, I think, look, there's a couple of things. First of all, we deeply care about the privacy and the security of the data of our users and the people using our services. What we do is we generally make sure that if there's requests from law enforcement agencies, that we actually make sure that those are real, valuable requests and real requests. And if not, we fight back, and we have a history of fighting back also to protect our privacy of our users in a very, very vigorous way. I think the other side of it is that governments must protect its citizens, and it's got to find a way, in the light of all of the events that we've seen in the past weeks, it's got to protect its citizens. And so I think it's always hard to find the right balance between user privacy and security. And we'll work with law enforcement agencies and governments to figure out what the right balance is, and with always in mind the privacy of our users and people using our services.
And following on that topic, talking about government, I think yesterday there was someone from Deutsche Telekom making a comment that Facebook was a telecommunication service or communication service, and as such, especially with that scale, it should be regulated.
Yeah. Well, so a couple of things. First, if you look at the usage, like the reason you have a mobile subscription now has changed massively in the last 5-7 years, right? You used to buy a mobile subscription for voice and SMS, and now I can guarantee you that 80% of the people wanting to buy a mobile data plan or anything else do it because they want access to Facebook, to Instagram, to Maps, to a bunch of other, the world's knowledge, basically services that are built by other companies. And we see that with Internet.org, right, where we partner with a lot of mobile operators around the world to package free basic services, which from then, those users can then upgrade to paying services. And we see that those are the very services that people want to use. So I'm not sure I understand that comment. I think personally, as a European entrepreneur, I wish that people who had a platform, like the senior business leaders of Europe, would actually care more about why are people like me, a European entrepreneur, leaving Europe to go build those very companies he was talking about in the US, and go address those issues rather than try to build a protective environment.
So we talked a bit about the future of messaging, but what about the future of David Marcus?
The present is good. You got to live the moment.
Let me ask my question and finish my question. I mean, there seems to be one path for eBay CEOs to end up as, at least for a few weeks, as CEOs of Yahoo.
And your question is?
Could this be a path?
No.
What company, if there was one company you could pick to be CEO of next?
Messenger is cool. I like it. It's great.
So it was a product.
It's great. It's awesome.
And so, well, I'm an investor. So what company should I invest in?
That's a really good question.
Give me your 2 best picks of companies I should just
I don't know. It's like, I've been
after.
really intrigued. There are a bunch of companies that do really interesting things in the Valley right now. I met at a dinner a couple of weeks ago, a phenomenal guy who started a company that can actually detect cancer with a simple blood sample. Very early stages or more advanced stages to see if therapies work, and they can target, the right genome therapy. And so I think, those types of things are really interesting, and I think they're truly world-changing, and there are a bunch of these companies that are now popping in Silicon Valley as well, that are truly life-changing, like literally. So
okay,
those are good ones.
Give me the name on that one. So when are you starting your next company?
I'm perfectly happy. I don't know why you're trying to, it's like, honestly, I'm having the most fun I've had in at least maybe a decade. It's like, you get to work in the morning with a fabulous team. They're like, almost all of my team is probably half my age, and I'm not that old. And we actually build amazing capabilities and features. We release for Android and iOS every 2 weeks. We have 500 million monthly active users, and we're just getting warmed up. I mean, it's an opportunity of a generation, or certainly of my lifetime, to actually build a platform that will reach over 1 billion monthly active users and actually develop it further and build a business on top of it. I mean, I couldn't be happier. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for this, David, and we're delighted to have you in Europe.
All right.
Thank you.